Roman history, there are notable figures who gain prominence for their bravery and dedication in combat. One of these individuals was Publius Vibullius Baculus, a centurion primus pilus, who served in the 12th Roman Legion during Julius Caesar's conquest of Gaul. Baculus's courage stood out prominently, especially when he saved the life of General Julius Caesar, as recorded in historical sources, particularly those of Caesar in Gaul. Publius Vibullius Baculus is portrayed as a fearless warrior, ready to fight to the death under Caesar's leadership. According to Caesar, Baculus faced bloody battles even when severely wounded, such as in the conflict against the Nervii in 57 BCE. After Caesar addressed the soldiers of the 10th Legion, he moved to the right side of the battlefield, where he saw his men in trouble. The soldiers of the 12th Legion were pressing the area where they had grouped their banners. The situation was chaotic. All the 4th cohort leaders had fallen, the standard bearer was killed, and the flag had been lost. In the other cohorts, most leaders were wounded or dead, including Baculus, who was so injured at that moment that he could barely stand. Furthermore, some rearguard soldiers had retreated from the fight, while the enemies continued to attack. There were no reinforcements available, and the situation was desperate. Due to his injuries, Baculus had been taken to a garrison for medical treatment. He went without food for 4 days, but concerned for his own safety and that of others, he left his tent to face the Nervii. Once back in battle, Baculus took a soldier's shield from the last ranks, since he had lost his own. With great courage, he rushed forward, calling centurions by name and encouraging soldiers to advance. His arrival brought confidence to the soldiers and encouraged them to keep fighting. Each soldier was determined to fulfill their duty under the watchful eye of their commander. Even in the most critical situation, thanks to Baculus's leadership, the pressure from the Nervii was momentarily relieved. However, the severe wounds Baculus had suffered caused him to faint, and he was saved by other soldiers who carried him away from the front line. A similar situation occurred 5 years later. This time, Caesar was facing the Germanic tribe of the Sugambri in 52 BCE. After the legions fought for more than 6 consecutive hours, the soldiers were exhausted and running out of ammunition. Meanwhile, the Sugambri intensified their attack and began to breach the defensive barrier of the legions, filling the empty spaces. The situation was critical, and there seemed to be no way out. It was then that Baculus, along with a military tribune named Gaius Volusinus, approached one of Caesar's legates and explained that there was only one hope for escape: to attempt a desperate breakout. Quickly, they gathered the centurions and ordered the soldiers to stop fighting for a moment, only shielding themselves from enemy projectiles, resting and preparing. When a signal was given, they would leave the camp and place all their hopes of survival on their own courage. In these two situations, Baculus did not retreat in the face of difficulties and led his men with determination. He earned the respect and admiration of his soldiers, who called him by the nickname the Staff, a nickname related to his surname and also to the vine staff that centurions carried as a symbol of their position. Other historical accounts affirm that Baculus saved Julius Caesar's life by eliminating an enemy warrior who was preparing to attack the general. Therefore, Caesar held great admiration for Baculus, and it is no wonder that in his writings in Gaul, he called him the strongest man. It is interesting to note that Baculus and another centurion named Balbus are the only ones among the primi pilares centurions whom Caesar praises by name in his records. This special recognition highlights Baculus's remarkable strength and military leadership abilities. The circumstances of Baculus's death are unknown. Some suggest he may have taken his own life after Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE or died in the Battle of Philippi, fighting alongside Marcus Antonius' supporters against Caesar's enemies. However, these theories are conflicting and therefore cannot be considered reliable. What cannot be denied is that Baculus is a remarkable example of courage and commitment that Roman soldiers had at that time, leaving a lasting mark on Rome's history